and welcome into another edition of Give Me Five. I am Kendall Smith, joined alongside of our very first Gamecock baseball guest. It is Trey Wheeler. He is a left-handed pitcher out of Melbourne High School in Melbourne, Florida. He is a signee for the 2022 class for Gamecock baseball. Trey, I have to say, you being left-handed just gives you brownie points right off of the bat because I was telling you I'm a lefty. So it's great to have a fellow left-handed person on the show today.
I'm good to hear. I'm glad to hear that.
Yeah, well, Trey, we're so excited to have you, like I said, and this is going to be a fun interview where we get to know you better. Our fans are going to get to know a little bit more about your personality, but I want to start off asking you about the patience that it required to wait to sign your letter of intent to officially become a South Carolina Gamecock. You committed back in 2020, so it took a little bit of time to finally get to the point where you could sign. Now that you're signed, how excited are you to officially be a Gamecock?
Oh, I'm super excited, especially after coming up for the official visit in October and knowing that I think it was like 3 weeks away. I was super excited to be able to finally sign, and it's almost more nerve-wracking being committed and not signing, right? Because I don't know, I just feel like the anticipation, right, and waiting that year. It was kind of tough because I'm ready. I was ready to finally lock it down, and I finally did. And I'm super excited to be up in South Carolina next year, Columbia.
One more high school season for you, and then you'll be here in Columbia, like you said. And I was looking at your social media before we started this interview, and I saw that you're a golfer. So I have to ask, we've got to get it off the table to start here. Team Brooks or Team Bryson?
Oh, personally, I'm a Bryson guy.
Okay.
And only because I think I like how he analytically looks at the game, and I model a lot of how I look at pitching the same way I feel like he looks at golfing, right? Super focused on specific and committed to everything he does, where I like how Brooks has that certain swag about him, and I think I model a little bit of that myself as well. But I definitely like the preparation, which I'm sure Brooks prepares, but it's just a little bit more open, and also how Bryson shows the world what he's doing, right? And helps people learn with what he's doing as well, which I think. And he hits the ball really, really far. It's exciting to watch.
He is so fun to watch. He's so mechanical, like you said. Their little heated kind of tension last year was super interesting to watch. So I always have to ask people, like, Team Brooks or Team Bryson? But I like
they're opposite, so yeah.
Yeah, they are. And I like how you gave an answer where you're like, oh, like I like a little bit of what they both do. Now, Trey, you play for the Canes national team, and my brother played college baseball. So I know what it's like to travel to all of these tournaments throughout the summer, throughout the fall. Out of all the places that you've traveled to play baseball, what has been your favorite?
Oh, wow. I'd either say Birmingham, Hoover, or probably San Diego. I didn't love Atlanta, and I didn't like Greenville at all. Certain reasons for that. I'm just kidding. Greenville was pretty, but I just love San Diego. Just the weather out there is nice, but Hoover had a really unique feel to it, right? It felt like the South, but it was also a little bit like the air is a little lighter. You're a little higher elevation, so I kind of like that feeling of not being in Florida, where I felt like I still had that in Atlanta. So
yeah,
I think those are probably my two favorite places that I've traveled so far.
We'll never forget spending the week-long trips in Atlanta at East Cobb and at Lake Point. If you're listening and you've been to either of those places, you know how it is if you're a baseball player, like the pinnacle tournament of the summer, I feel like. But Trey, before you get out there and you pitch, do you have like a pregame ritual that you always go through?
I wouldn't say I have a pregame ritual. Like, I think I do things like the night before that I feel like weeks leading up, I plan out how, like, not in the summers much, but like when I really have the schedule planned out, I go like weeks before and backtrack my throwing schedule and stuff. But I'd say probably the night before I stretch, which I do every night, but I really do everything in the same order. And if I mess it up, I like go back and redo it like kind of quickly to make sure I'm still in that same order and, control the things that I can control. Because usually once you get on the field, there's certain circumstances you can't. So I try to lock that in all the night before, right? Sleep, get exactly around like 8 hours. I try to stay right on that schedule. And I don't know, it's weird. I listen to like the same white noise every night right before I pitch. It's a different one than I usually listen to. I don't know. And then I listen to a lot of Kanye West before I pitch. I don't know if that's a ritual or not, but
if it works for you, I'd consider it a ritual. I love how you're so disciplined in making sure that every night beforehand you've got your ducks in a row. That's awesome. And, I always say with pitchers, you can't spell power without PO. It's been like my saying since I was in high school and I did the announcing. When talking about your hitting, I've got to know, when was the last time that you hit, and would you consider yourself a good hitter?
I don't know if I consider myself a good hitter, like traditionally. I hit for my high school team, but I didn't hit. I hit like I stopped hitting at like 14. I kind of like set it aside, knew pitching was the route I needed to take. And then last year, some guy got hurt and I had to come in. And I think I batted 450 last year, like 40 something at bats or something close to 40 at bats. But I'm like almost like a slap hitter. I don't know if the power is there necessarily, but I think no, as a pitcher going in and kind of knowing they're probably their game plan against me really helps me out, right? Because I think I know I can anticipate a little bit more, which makes up for not having the best hands. So, it works, but I don't know. I wouldn't say I'm a great hitter.
I'm not a good hitter, but I hit 450 last year. I mean, I would say that's a pretty darn good batting average, but who knows? I mean, maybe we'll see you hitting at South Carolina. I don't remember the last pitcher. Josiah Seitler.
Yeah,
I know he pitches, and then
Michael Brathwell's there this year. He hits and pitches. So.
Right. Yeah, so you could be right in there with them. If you're batting 450 in high school, I mean, I'm not going to rule anything off of the table for you. That's super impressive.
I think 90 and like 80 to 85 are different beasts. So I don't know if I'll be able to do it.
Never know until you try. Trey, we talked about all those tournaments that you've been to over the summer. And a lot of the times at these tournaments, you'll do a couple of games in a day, right? So if you're stuck at the field, and you have to eat something at the concession stand, the amazing baseball concession stands.
Yeah.
What is your go-to order?
I don't really know. Usually I pack things beforehand, but I would probably say just fries. Like I usually have protein bars, so I'm getting the right amount of nutrients, but I just like fries, and it's pretty easy to cook. So you can't really go wrong. But yeah, usually they have like nowadays, I don't know. When I was younger, probably I'd go and get stuff, but now they treat us really well. So maybe too well sometimes, but so they usually have stuff for us to eat, but probably fries or sunflower seeds. I just eat all the time, but I wouldn't say that's something for a concession stand.
You can't go wrong with fries. And then of course, sunflower seeds, the go-to snack, food, whatever you would call it. I feel like for all baseball players, this is a question, Trey, we ask on every single show for Give Me Five. And it's about weird food combinations that you might like. So like Braden Davis, he is a commit for the football team. He's now here at South Carolina. He likes quesadillas and ketchup. We've had people talk about eating cereal with a scoop of vanilla ice cream on the top. So do you have any weird food combos that you like?
Well, I don't have any weird food combos because I'm like a really picky eater. So again, like really regimented in what I eat. One thing at a time, right? I'm not mixing anything. But I would say something that's really weird, and I mean it's really weird. I don't like fruit at all. So like I would say that's probably weirder than a lot of food combinations. But yeah, I'm super picky eater. But so I don't know how that'll work out for me in the long run. But yeah.
So like no smoothies? You don't do like strawberry banana smoothies? Is that off the table?
Yeah, nothing really.
Oh man.
I know.
Wow. That's interesting. Yeah. I don't think I've ever heard anybody say I can't stand like every single fruit. So
yeah, I mean like scientifically I guess things with seeds are fruit and all like cucumbers and stuff, but those aren't like real fruits, I would say. And I don't really I don't know what it is. I know.
That's unique. Yeah. We've never heard it before on the show. So I'd consider that maybe not a weird food combination, but like a weird food preference, I guess.
Yeah.
There you go. Well, Trey, when you're out on the mound, if you could describe your demeanor, your attack kind of in one word, what would you describe it as? Tough question.
One word.
You can do more than one if you want to. You can.
Okay. I would say the best, and there's a weird explanation for that. Kind of like when I'm on the mound, I'm the best on the field when I'm there because I can control what I can control. And you might be, I would say if I don't think I'm the best, how am I going to like commit to everything I do and execute everything that I have to execute to perform properly. So, that little bit of doubt can leave that just a little bit of space for them to, succeed off of me. And when you have that mentality, sometimes people might beat you, but that's the one time out of 10 times you'll beat me, right? And you got lucky that one time. Oh, well, I missed the pitch, right? And I think a lot of pitchers have that mentality. I just don't know if they would explain it that way, but especially being in like just the center of the field, no one can help you. You got to just keep doing your thing and going after hitters. I think it's almost imperative, especially with, I would say there are a lot more talented guys out there. So I really have to rely on what I do best and thinking that I'm going to succeed 100% of the time, even if I don't, right? That's, I think it's imperative for my mentality on how I attack hitters and just go about things on and off the baseball field in general, right? I'm the best person for the job at all times. So
that's awesome. I think that's great advice for any young baseball player listening to the show. Always have confidence in yourself, be ready to go attack it when you get out there. And it's so hard being a pitcher because you do live and die off of every pitch. It's different from all of the other positions in that regard. But Trey, coming to play baseball at South Carolina, what kind of impact do you hope to make on the team?
oh wow, I never really thought about it that way. I'd probably say just give our team the best chance to compete at another national championship. Recently, I talked to someone who's from Columbia who lives in my hometown now, and I just met him. So I'm wearing a Gamecocks jacket, and I said, "Oh, it's a sweet jacket." Like, "Oh, you want to play baseball there?" Yeah, friends of mine. I guess he's friends with my family or something. And he's like, "Yeah, you got to get back to the glory days. Back-to-back championships." And I think that starts with a culture change, and I think Coach Kingston's doing that now. He's bringing in the right people and setting the right mentality for guys, for us as a team to get back to that point, right? And I think South Carolina, as a fan base, really wants us to get back there. And I hope that I can not only influence on the field to get back to that point, but also as a culture and a mentality, bring not people together, but create that winning culture, right? That I would say a little more grit, and I think we have that, but maybe influence the culture in that way. If it doesn't, I think it already is, but maybe even help a little bit more.
Yeah. Well, Trey, thank you so much for joining me on Give Me Five today, the very first Gamecock baseball signee to join. So hopefully we have many more coming on in the future, but we're so excited to have you come down to Columbia next year and see you on the baseball team.
Yeah, thank you.
Of course. All right, I'm Kendall Smith. He's Trey Wheeler, and we will see you guys soon. Bye.